Okay, welcome back to Ballin Answers. Ka-chow!
Welcome back to episode 4 of Ballin Answers podcast. We have a special treat for you today. A little later on, we get to hear from our very own VP of HR, Tommy Howard, and we'll get to have him answer some questions a little later on. But for the time being, Brian, what is the current active certification rate for our instructor staff? Is the goal still 75% like it was last season?
So, long-term goals are always going to be challenging, right? The big, hairy, audacious goal is 75%. Our motto, our philosophy is we are going to be the place to learn. And we have invested heavily on the idea of education. We want to have the most educated staff who can educate the guests the best, who can relate and keep engaging. And so part of that comes through certification, and that's one metric for us to follow. I set us a goal of 75% because we thought we had a lot more certified staff than we did. Um, Found out at the end of the season that we have 200 staff members. So for those doing math at home, when you have a staff of over 600 and you have 200 certified staff members, that is 30%. We will continue to endeavor to get to 75% because that's a goal, right? But it's not going to be this year's goal. This year's goal, a little bit more realistic. We're going to shoot for 300 staff members, or roughly 50% of our staff being active certified members who claim the summit at Snoqualmie. And yes, you can be in two schools at the same time. So if you are working for a concession school and us, which I know some of you do, you can be members for both people. You don't have to choose Mohan over us. We like to go ahead and say that we're one big community. So continue to edit your profile, continue to join PSIA Aussie, and we'd love to have you continue to invest in your education.
Absolutely. 50% is a great goal to have.
Yep.
So our next question here is, when do we think that Kids Club or Kids Corral, as well as daily lessons, will return to Central?
Woo! I love it. So you are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I want daily lessons back at Central. It makes sense, right? It's open 7 days a week, and we'll continue to work to get back there. Space is always the issue. So can we get them in through rentals in a safe, productive way that reflects the lesson we want to put out? Right now, no. We're looking at a lot of options, whether it is the long term of remodeling the lodge, whether it is the medium term of a pop up structure in the parking lot somewhere, whether it is the short term of how does this happen with us once West closes? And can we bring over a set of gear and create something outside when the weather's better? So all options are on the table, and we continue to try to find ways to make this thing happen, both short term, medium term, and long term. Yes, we do want it back. No, we don't have a hard in pen time of when daily lessons will return to Central.
Yeah, I'm excited to work on that project. I think it'd be really fun to get our daily lessons back over to Central.
Yeah, I think we all would.
Yeah. Are we still doing student assessments in December for our multi-week lesson programs?
We are. It started off as a program to go ahead and assess and make sure that people's ability level were the right levels. All of you instructors have done such a good job of marking the end of season levels that we no longer require it for every staff or for every participant, right? We don't need it any longer. This is really for the new participants. And part of the reason why I love it is for that new participant, they don't understand how long it takes to get up, to get dressed, to get them fed, to come up to the mountain, to get parked, to walk over, to go to that first lesson. And that first lesson always starts late. So this assessment isn't so much an assessment of their ability, it's a self-assessment for them. How long does it take for little Johnny to get booted up and get to the lesson? The parents will find that out that first day. They think they're showing up at 8:30 for a 9 o'clock assessment. They're going to find out that it's probably a 6 a.m. wake up to feed the kid, to get them up here, to get them out. And even getting here at 8 o'clock in the morning may not be enough time. Depends on each student, right? Depends on each kid. So it's their assessment time. And yeah, we are running it. Yes, the different managers are putting in the final touches, and they'll be sending out the emails to get the kids here. And yes, it's happening.
Okay. Are we still utilizing adult partners? Did we ever enforce that and did it work? What I believe this is asking is having an adult on a chairlift with an under 6-year-old.
So there is on the website of the adult participation.
Mhm.
It is still on there. We did enforce that uh, prior or during COVID, making sure they could interact with the kids. We have not enforced that recently. We can have a conversation about that if everybody feels, if you feel that that was a value add to your class, having the parents around for that adventure, we can talk to your supervisors, talk to your managers. We can bring that back for you, right? Like that is definitely still out there. For the child lift riding policies, we are still enforcing that. We do our best, and that is a lot of that is on you. A lot of that's on the staff member to help create those things. When you get to the lesson line, don't just jump into the lesson line, look around. Ask people if they're willing to help, help set up the thing by having a conversation. Hey, Taylor, this is Joe. Joe here is really strong at getting off the lift. Joe here needs a little bit of help getting onto the lift or whatever, like however the conversation works. Set it up for them to be successful. We are striving for 100% of kids 4 to 6 riding with an adult. We are striving for 100% of 7 to 13-year-olds riding with an adult if they need one, right? If they feel uncomfortable, we want to create that safe space for them. 4 to 6-year-olds, all of them, right?
Absolutely.
Last thing we want is a chairlift incident.
Those are no fun
No,
and scary for everyone involved.
scary for everyone involved.
Absolutely. We have a question about why Wednesday lessons at Alpental are canceled.
Yeah. So first off, I want to say Alpental didn't cancel Wednesday lessons. Medina is still happening. ICS is not. ICS has moved over to West. The reason behind that is we used to run Alpental 6 days a week with nights on Tuesdays through Fridays. It is now running 7 days a week with nights on Thursdays through Saturdays. So there's been a shift in the schedule. That shift in the schedule was to create opportunities to build culture. Friday nights, Saturday nights, to have that that Alpental vibe come back. There wasn't nighttime opportunities on Saturdays, and we needed to figure out a way to make it happen. We looked at visits and we looked at ways to make this thing happen, and we found that we were lacking visits on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So to open it on Mondays and to create the Saturday time, now those were that was the give and take.
Sounds good. So we have an ask here for adaptive training to prepare for PSIA level 1 adaptive certs and an interest in telemark training.
Okay. To the best of my knowledge, we don't have anybody on staff that is certified to lead adaptive trainings. If there is someone who is, please contact Taylor because we don't have you marked on our spreadsheet with certifications about that. But there could be out there. I know we have some people that are level ones in Telly, and I know that we have a Telly group that goes out on when Thursday nights. There's a Telly Thursday night thing. If you are interested in learning more about Telly, talk with your managers, talk with the Telly group that goes out on Thursday nights, and we might be able to sneak you into some of those lessons. We might be able to create an opportunity for you there, specifically for PSA training for level one Telly, level one adaptive. I would reach out to PSA Aussie, the Northwest site, and ask them. They are a membership school, and we are a membership school, and they are a membership community, and you have the right to ask for these things. And if you can get a group together, they are more and more willing to offer these type of experiences. Do realize that everyone who leads them works other jobs, so may not be able to align with the dates you're requesting.
So we have a question here about Nordic instructors and if they are going to get a different uniform shell this season.
Well, no, we don't have different shells. We have one snow sports shell at this time, And we have Nordic did get themselves a soft shell and a hard shell last year, and so we are trying our best to continue that. Sizing is an issue as we continue to look to staff up and create enough of a variation so everybody can have everything. I'd like to point out that we are doing our best with what we have. Give us some time and we will continue to look at a better shell for Nordic. I do understand that the current shell is more of an alpine downhill snowboard shell versus the cross country lighter shell that you're looking for.
Okay. Are there any changes or improvements to announce with Flaik this season?
Oh, well, Flaik is constantly changing and constantly improving. I think the big takeaways right now is the more you use it, signing up for trainings, so giving feedback through trainings, getting feedback through trainings, the more dynamic it'll be. But there is going to be that same sort of dynamic interface between guests and us for lessons. So there'll be a lot of dynamic communication that can happen this year between your report cards and guest feedback. There is probably other opportunities that I'm forgetting at this moment. Talk with your supervisors, ask them for it. There's a knowledge base inside of there. If you see something you want, let's see if we can roll it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We are constantly making changes to Flaik, and Flaik itself is making changes that we are slowly adapting to. So there's always new things. And like Brian said, if you have ideas of other certain things that you would like to see, let us know, and it might be something that we can accommodate. All right. Well, that is it for the Taylor and Brian portion of the day. So I'm going to once again disappear.
Poof,
and
she's gone.
Tommy will appear.
All right. So those of you who do not know, this is the man, the myth, the legend, Tommy Howard. Woo!
I'm here.
The VP of Human Resources.
Yes, your Ballin podcast is Howard powered. That's right.
The Howard Powered Ballin, sponsored by Howard Power. This is your first season as a VP, but this is not your first season here. Can you tell all of our many viewers all about yourself and where you came from and how this is not your first go around at the summit?
It's not. Yeah, I actually started my career here in 2007. I can't believe I'm that old. Right out of grad school. So this was my first HR gig. I sat right where Amanda sits. If you've been in her office, that was my chair all those years ago. And then I went on and did some other things like working at Washington State Department of Transportation as a recruiter and then a business partner before I went and worked for the city of Seattle, City Lights, was an investigator. And then I did a little jaunt in Hawaii and was an HR manager at the last remaining sugar plantation before I came to work at UC Berkeley, and I was the chief of staff there. And having some kiddos, decided it was time to move home and went back to the city of Seattle, was their chief of staff before working at the foundation, Gates Foundation. And then I decided, you know what, I want to work with folks who are working with people and not just working with big problems, big hairy problems, but I wanted to work closer to the actual people I'd be supporting. So the mountain was calling and I came back home.
I love it. Kind of like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want. You can never leave.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. How many of you actually know that song, or at least the original? I mean, there's kind of a good contingent. I feel like we skew between, what I'm going to say is people who recognize that song, 50%, and people who don't, probably 50% of our staff.
Yeah. The real question is if they say, yeah, I think my parents listen to that, or yeah, I think my grandparents listen to that. So however you want to feel about it.
Well, thank you. And thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some of the hard hitting questions.
Okay.
And so we're going to start this one off with the vast important ones.
Yes.
Our benefits.
Sure.
It has been recently pointed out that we have access to tubing tickets this year.
We do.
So first off, how many?
Yep. So we get 4 tubing tickets free. They're already preloaded on your pass. Once you've spent those 4 tickets, there are 4 additional tickets for you at 50% off. So that should be as easy to pick up as the first 4 tickets.
All right. And is that through the website? Is that through Amanda? Like, who do we bother for those next 4 tickets?
Oh, I think it's through the same process that you would get your first 4 tickets. But we will have more information on our website, which will make sure to include in upcoming orientations, there'll be a QR code as well as the password, because it is password protected, because we have some really great benefits that we want to make sure we're able to spread the word to our employees that they're out there. So more details on where they get those and that process, but it should be pretty straightforward.
All right, I like it. I like this thing. So, talking about benefits,
Yep.
is there a shuttle, like an employee shuttle, getting us from North Bend, getting us from Cle Elum? Like, where are we at on that?
So we may remember that some years ago there was a shuttle that picked us up from those locations that you mentioned, but we didn't launch it in a timely fashion. So uptake on that was pretty low. So this year there will not be a shuttle picking us up off the mountain. However, we do have something else that we're going to be bringing on, which is a carpool app.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go for it. Tell us
No,
about this carpool app.
so the carpool app, it's through a company called Pave, and this gamifies your efforts to find and ride with fellow workers, and there actually will be some prizes for everyone to win. Some of it will be just gift card type things. There may also be some actual hardware that we hand out. But it's going to be very user friendly, and we'll make sure that we also have a QR code for that up on screen when we have our orientations in the coming weekends, so people can get logged on and get into the rhythm of carpooling. Speaking of carpooling, who do I carpool with?
Ooh, that's what I was going to go with. Am I eligible? Because you and I carpool.
Yes, I actually was just on the app right now, and we need to both get signed up, and then we can identify that we rode with one another.
I love it. So, obviously, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the honor system here. Please don't game the system 100%, but
Yep.
Do go ahead and make this a fun adventure, because it is much more pleasant. I know that I save at least 30 to 45 minutes
Yep.
not being stuck in some of those things, because I've got a carpool buddy and I
Yep.
get in the carpool lane, and it's nice.
It's awfully satisfying to go in the carpool lane when we are cruising down the I-90 bridge.
Plus, we get to listen to one of our playlists, and we're both uncool and old, and it's a lot of fun seeing what's on the playlist today.
Yeah, it was pretty raucous this morning when we were listening to a book on tape. Yeah,
Look, we're getting smarter for you.
That's right. Smarter. That's right. Educating yourself one right at a time. You can do the same.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We had a question about culture. What culture are we building towards? What culture are you hoping to bring us towards?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like carpooling is part of it. I feel like kind of this joking and this fun and this engagement part of it. Is there anything else you want to be like, hey, this is a cornerstone of the Howard Power, but what we're bringing culture?
Yeah, I'm going to regret saying that, aren't I? So a couple of things I like to say. One is we have a real focus on guests, right? And it's my opinion that in human resources, the employees are our guests. And if we take care of those guests, you take care of the other guests. And so part of that is making sure that we deliver an employee value proposition, employee experience that is consistent with what we want to bring our guests. So part of that is providing folks with those passes. Part of that's also things like, if you're a full-time person, you can go direct to Lyft with your pass at all Boyne resorts. So that's Cypress, it's Brighton, it's Big Sky. So if you've made that commitment to be full-time, you don't got to, even though we like seeing you come to HR to get your letters, you'll be able to go direct to Lyft if you're full-time. So we're trying to expand the resources that people get and the perks that they get in working for us. There's other things like we have the health benefits that are available for people if they've worked multiple seasons. And our friends in payroll, particularly Susan, keeps a very close eye if someone becomes eligible for those benefits if they're working from season to season. So we're always looking to find ways to invest in our most valuable resource, which is our people. And the way that I've been talking about it is not inconsistent with our history of wanting to be the best mountain to work and play, but I want to be the premier employer or the employer of choice for the outdoor enthusiasts in the Pacific Northwest. And I think that's it is the big, hairy, audacious goal, but I think it's something that we work to every day. And part of that is just improving experience for those day-to-day transactions. So hopefully that touches a little bit on the type of culture that we're trying to create.
I love it. So, and I'm just going to ask the question because I'm sure we'll get asked it.
Sure.
I start off as part-time.
Yep.
I move to full-time. I get direct Lyft access. I end up not being able to do full-time, and I come back down to part-time. Is there going to be any repercussions for that?
Boy, that would require me to be really on top of things, and I don't believe so. But the reality of it is there's well, let me put it this way. There's not going to be repercussions for you with respect to your utilization of that resource.
Mhm.
What there may be a ramification for is you are getting other benefits that are reserved for those that are full time. So at the time of separation for the season,
Mhm.
it may be decided that we have to mark a person as conditional because you didn't meet your full time commitment. But that's really going to be at the prerogative of the supervisor, manager, and yourself. But as far as the direct lift access piece, that's not, I'm don't worry, I'm not checking on that closely.
All right. Well, I like that personally. For me, I'm gonna say that we have a history of abusing things, and please don't abuse this because I want this for multiple seasons to come. And if we use it correctly, we get to see benefits that keep coming in and more of them.
Yeah.
So that's just gonna plug that in there.
Yeah, absolutely. If we want to continue to have nice things, we need to treat them right. So these things are privileges that we get to enjoy right now, but um, I have every trust that our employees are going to do the right thing. So, like you say, we see them in perpetuity.
I like it. All right, so I got one last hard hitting question for
Ooh,
you.
bring it.
If you could have a superpower, any superpower, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's always a fun question. I know what my son would say, who's 4, and he's one of those people that's going to be hanging out with you this winter. So watch out! I got a monster coming your way. But for me, I think I would want to be invisible.
I've mastered the
All right.
I
ability
I
of
think it would be
standing
kind of fun
so
to be a
incredibly
fly on the
still
literal wall. So,
that I become
yeah,
invisible to the eye.
that's my thinking. Being invisible, kind of always. I don't know about you all, but I would love to live in a Costco. So, like, sleep in the Costco bed and like be able to get the chicken and eat that and have no one see me. That's my superpower, I think.
I like it. I like it. I am very lazy. And so if
Yeah.
I can get like some telekinesis and just be like, use the
Ooh.
force and just pull objects to me, like, oh, I'm really hungry. Let's just open the fridge. Let's get the item. Let's have it come to me without actually leaving the couch. Like,
You're making me rethink my answer. I might want to teleport. I know that would cut down our carpool time, but
mm,
it would be really nice to not spend 2 hours a day driving.
that's another good one too. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we think Taylor's superpower would be? Do you think it's like shooting lasers out of her eyes? Like, pew, pew, pew.
Absolutely.
Yes. Every day.
Absolutely.
Every day. Daggers. Just
Daggers. All right. Well, thank you for your time. If the people call, will you come back again if they
I
request?
will. I will happily come back. I want to make sure that we get people the information they need to be successful out on the hill, and I'm willing to chat with people by whatever means necessary. So whether that be bring in the Howard powered ballin hour or whatever it is.
That is a tongue twister.
Yeah,
Can you say that 3 times
I
fast?
cannot. I can barely say it 1 time fast. So whether it's coming on these kinds of formats or seeing me on the hill, please grab me. I would love to chat with you about whatever you're working on. I really do want to know if something's working well for you or not. That's the only way we're going to get better. We pay attention. Also, I just want to note that those team member experience surveys are something that I pay close attention to. So please continue to fill them out because some of the changes that you're going to be seeing this winter are a direct result of what you guys have shared as far as what your needs are.
Well, I love it. Thank you for the time. If you are watching this and you have not requested somebody else to be on this thing, please let us know. At this moment right now, we don't have a guest star for next week. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be a special guest. Submit all of the random questions and we'll see who we get in that chair.
Yeah, and I would tell you as a person that's sitting in the chair, make them as random as possible. I know for me, I'm most excited about the superhero question. And like if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
You know what? Depends what type of hot dog I
Mhm.
would like, because I mean, one of the basic ones, like maybe like you make a Seattle dog, like
Man of my own heart. Yes.
yes, absolutely.
Is a hot dog complete without cottage cheese? Or not cottage cheese, cream cheese.
Cream
Pardon me.
cheese?
But yeah, no, I don't think so.
All right, yeah, I'm with you. Like absolutely, get some grilled onions, get some cream cheese, like
Bring it.
bring it every time.
Yeah, all beef. Or are we talking brat?
Oh, so I will do either with a
Okay.
Seattle dog. If we are going just like normal hot dog, I'm definitely a brat dog.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to take us off topic. But yeah,
Hey.
bring the weird, bring the weird, bring the funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bah! Hey, wait, come back. Peyton, Laser eyes, laser eyes.
On a dark desert highway, cool